Well, science says that fragrance elicits memory with a better recall, stronger than any other sense. That you hear something and it may trigger something that you heard before. You see things and it triggers things you've seen before. But apparently, the nose knows, it never forgets. That's what they say. That fragrance, if you detect it a second time, the memory stays. I don't have too many experiences in life, I guess, like that, but I remember, way back in the early 1970s, a buddy and I, Alex Smecklesoff, we took our bicycles. We rode from Chicago down to Phoenix, Arizona, in fall. Took a ride all that way, and we went down there to visit a friend of ours who was in college in Tempe. And, I got down there, and, John tossed us in the back of his old Ford pickup truck, and we went out for a ride through the orange groves. And the trees were blooming at the time heavily. The smell of orange blossom was pervasive. Yeah, made my nose numb. So much orange blossom. It was beautiful. Coming from Chicago, I did not have a lot of history with orange blossoms anyway. So it was very pleasant. Well, we're driving along, and all of a sudden, there on the side of the road, there's two beautiful ladies, co-eds, I imagine, long blonde hair, barefoot. yeah, thumbing a ride. Whoa, John, pick them ladies up. And so they jumped in the back of the box of the truck with me, and I'm back there riding along. Got these two women there. They got their own fragrance, I guess, and there's the orange blossoms, and then there's the wind blowing all this long blonde hair on me, and all the orange blossoms in the air. And, well, man, to this day, when I smell orange blossoms, riding around the back of a pickup in the Arizona sun with a couple of barefoot blonde ladies, man, it always comes back to memory. Always comes back to memory. Thanks to the orange trees. Anyway, I guess a couple weeks back, and I was sitting there in the chair in the morning, drinking coffee and meditating on the sunrise when, for some reason, no real idea why, for the first time in well over 40 years, my ex-wife's oldest sister crossed my mind. June. Yeah. And I said, that's odd. I hadn't thought about her for a long time. I said, I wonder how she's doing. I don't know. Some people seem to be able to figure out how to make good out of life, and other people seem to get clobbered by it. Yeah, she's not done very well sometimes with choices in husbands and things, been through a few divorces, right? Well, anyhow, she came to mind, and simultaneously also her husband also came to mind. I don't know why I thought about the guy, honestly. As far as I'm concerned, he was one of the bigger fools I ever met, and not a person, toxic character, nothing to do with the guy, okay? But it came to mind, and I immediately dismissed it and said, June must have been smart enough. She divorced that guy 6 months after I saw him 50 years ago, Well, then a day later, I guess, about a day or so, it's time to go to the garbage dump. Yeah, it had to be Friday, right? Yeah, I had to go to the dump. Hadn't been there for a while. Well, there had been some fish skins and a few other inedible parts that from the fishermen that did not end up getting dug into my garden, and they ended up in the trash can. Well, I am pulling the bag out of the can, and boy, I'll tell you, hey, 100% pure corpse. Oh, yes. Oh, the smell of death. The smell of death is around us. Yeah, it was very strong. You're going, oh man, that smells just like a corpse. What did I throw in here? And well, so I started pulling the bag through the carport, heading out to put it in the car. Well, and Ellen's orchid table's in the carport where she works on these plants. She had a great big old cattleya in full flower, and it was fragrant. And as I came by with a sack smelling like a corpse, all of a sudden, the sweet smell of cattleya flowers mixed with the corpse smell, and so I ended up with floral corpse. And the strangest part of it, it was a memory. They say fragrance elicits memory better than any other sense. Immediately when I smelled that, I remembered smelling corpse and flowers. But for my life, I couldn't think of any experience I had ever had in this life where I had a corpse and flowers. Now, it stands to reason. At least quite a while ago, before embalming practices were so good, I guess you could say it's probably one of the reasons why we use flowers at funerals. Yeah, bodies don't usually smell too good after a while. I imagine that must have had something to do with this in history, But recently, nah. I've only been to a few funerals in my whole life, and embalming practices are pretty good, and most of the funerals I've been to were closed anyway, the caskets, So I can smell flowers, that's about it. So I have no idea where this memory comes from. It was strong. That's a smell that I know. I don't know where from. Very odd. I suspect some of this has to do with the fact that I have been spending at least an hour every day meditating in the mornings. And so some things have been changing. Yeah, I've been successful at achieving a good state of meditation. And, it seems to me that maybe some of my psychic stuff seems to have been advancing, knowing things that I shouldn't know and so on. Seems like it's improving, but I don't know, this thing about the smell, I honestly felt that this was a smell from a past life. That was just how it hit me. I said, yeah, I've smelled that, but not in this life. Hard to say, Yeah, your brain makes reasons for everything it bumps into. Try to make sense out of stuff. Okay, so brain tried. Who knows? But then,
coming up on my birthday, my oldest son sends me an email a day ahead of time on the 13th and says, I'm going to Kansas for a funeral. I won't be around on your birthday, so I'm giving you a heads up ahead of time. Happy birthday, Dad. He says, I have to go to Kansas for Uncle Lou's funeral. And I'm going, Uncle Lou. Can't think of any Uncle Lou. I said, is that like one of the relatives your mom picked up when she got remarried or something? I don't know. What's Uncle Lou? He says, no. You remember my Aunt June. Remember that worthless son of a gun that she married? Oh, that Lou? And here I am. I'm going, first time in 40, 50 years, I think about June. Then I think about her worthless husband following it. Then, what do I get? Flowers and death. Next thing that comes up, it's my kid telling me he's got to go to a funeral because Uncle Lou dropped dead. Well, I'll tell you, you want something synchronistic about that? When it come to me, I was hauling out the trash. There just seems to be something just right about having to haul out the trash when I think about Lou and his funeral. Yeah. Yes, I guess that's what it was all about. It was this morning. Yeah, I'm sitting there, watch the sunrise. Got the coffee done. Sat down in the chair, took a cup of coffee. Instead of drinking it, just put it up by my face and I inhaled it. Well, first good huff of that coffee smell, and I was in Paris, France, in my mind. Yeah, all of a sudden, I get a memory of Paris. French roast? Well, I've never been to France. Okay. This is bothering me because this memory popped up is that I would associate the smell of coffee with drinking in bistros in Paris. Well, that's what happened. Whether there's any reality, I don't know. It's so odd. It's so odd. But ordinarily, if I have, a fragrance memory, I'll start thinking about orange blossoms and blonde hair. But coffee in Paris and flowers and death. I don't know.